Welcome to BuddyCore. My name is Kat,
My name's Abby.
and today we're gonna talk about how we met and how we're connected, aka we dated the same person, share the same ex. So we're just gonna get into it. So how we met, I was at a bar in Lawrence, and I got a drink, and I'm like standing the way that this bar is set up. It's like two rooms, and there's like upstairs parts, and I was standing in front of like the dartboard, and I was just like hanging out with my friends, and then like I like saw you in the corner of my eye, and I don't wear my contacts out, so I was like, wait, is that her? So I like kind of like slowly turned my
Wait,
head. I was
hold
like,
on. You don't wear your contacts out?
no. Cause
Why?
I know I'm gonna fall asleep in them, and every time I do, I wake up with my eyes like so sore and bloodshot, and sometimes I fall asleep in my makeup, so it's just marinating all the nasty bacteria.
I
I
will
can't.
admit that I sleep in my contacts more often than not. It's so bad.
No, I used to do that all the time in high school, and then I was like, okay, like I can't do that anymore. Like my eyes are starting to hurt really bad, and I've scratched my eye so many times where like it just hurts chronically. But so I saw you, and I was like, shit, like. Does she know who I am? And like my roommate, like obviously like knows about and like the situation. And so she's like, oh fuck. She's like, maybe she does know who you are. Like, she's like, she's kind of looking over here. So maybe she does. Or maybe she doesn't. And I was like, I don't know, but like, should I go up to her? Should I not? And I like contemplated it for like almost an hour. Like I'm sitting there shaking. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Like, is she gonna hate me? Cause like at this point I'm like, does she even know? So then at one point, like right as you're like walking by, I'm talking about it with one of my other roommates. And she's like, if it's been eating at you and your conscience for so long, do it. So I like grabbed you and I was like, hey, did you date John Doe? Like, do you know John Doe? And you're like, yes. And I was like, so did I. And then I dropped the bomb of I found out that he was dating you like right after me and like him hung out. So
Yeah, that was so funny. For someone to ask, I think, what did you say to me when you came up to me? You were like,
I said like,
did
oh,
you,
I have a really weird question.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, God, like, I know in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I? And also at the time, like, I definitely didn't think it was gonna be about John Doe. I thought it was gonna be about someone, like, more recent, which would, like, scare me even more than, like, anything. So I was like, oh gosh. And then you said, we're like, did you date? And I was like, yes. And then I just remember first of all, we were gone.
We were
We
having
were
a
gone.
fucking time talking
Yes, and
about it.
then we
And
just talked for like 45 minutes and went back
yeah.
and forth on our stories. And like, I wasn't shocked also because this is not the first person that's come to me about him.
Ugh.
Like, even when we were together, literally. So I wasn't shocked that it was him, but I definitely was like, this is so crazy that I'm running into this girl at the bar who knows mind you, he doesn't live anywhere near there, and
No.
he never has. So I was like, this is crazy. This is so crazy.
But
Also,
he
he doesn't.
apparently came up a lot, so
Yeah, I didn't
to
know
go to
that
the
either
bars.
because he would always, because I dated him right before he turned 21, and I was
Yeah.
like now you can go out to the bars and stuff, and he literally told me, he was like, oh, I have no interest in going out to the bars. Da, 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 da.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Right. If you're
Yeah,
gonna be a
look
liar,
at you
be a good
now.
liar.
But he is a big Tinder guy because we both matched with
Yeah.
him on Tinder. And turns out, so the first night that I met him, they hung out the night before. And I,
No,
like,
I was
basically the same
sick.
day. Yeah.
I literally we found this out this morning because she sent me like a flashback. And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, when was that? But then I was like, oh, wait, that was in April. So like, that can't be right. I was like, I hung out with him in March. And she was like, when? I was like, March 22nd, March 23rd. Come to find out, I hung out with him the night before, was at his house watching like fucking, I don't know, Criminal Minds. And he was getting into it with his roommate about fucking Fortnite. And that's the video I have, just them
Oh my
going
God,
back and
wait.
forth.
You were watching Criminal Minds?
Yes.
When I went to his house the day after the first day that we hung out, because we hung out like multiple days in a row after that first night. The day after I went over to his house and he was like, "You want to watch Criminal Minds? Like, I love this show."
He's so trifling. He make
Diabolical.
granted, like I was like a young, naive teenager when I dated him, but like
Same.
now when I look back at it, I can laugh because I'm like, I like this wasn't that serious. However, he is like literally the epitome of the most narcissistic man on earth. It's so sickening.
No, yeah. He and the crazy part about that too is the second, I think it was the second or the third day that we hung out, he introduced me to like all of his friends and he took me to like a friend's dinner. Yeah, we were all like sitting outside on the back patio. They had made dinner and all of them were like they like this was not the only time that this happened, but they were like saying how young I looked and stuff and I was like, well, first of all, I was 18 at the time, so I was like, I'm 18, and he was
he
20. He was
He likes them
20.
young. I've
Yes.
noticed that every girl, I don't know about before me, but after me, he's dated you. And then I don't know about the other girls, but like I was a senior in high school. You were a senior in high school. Another situation, which I'll get into that later when we talk about different
And
stories,
keep in
was
mind,
a
we
senior
dated.
in high school too.
Wait, didn't we date a year apart because you guys
Yeah.
went to prom? Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're a year apart. So when she was a senior, I was a junior. So when he dated me the next year and I was a senior, he was staying at that age of ripe old 18.
Which is like to me, I like granted like yeah, you're like 18 and legal, but I find it
Mhm.
so fucking weird when you're in your 20s dating like you're in a whole nother chapter of life. Like why are you
Right.
going back and dating people who are not even considered a full adult yet? Like I don't know. That's just it's
His
giving
mom checked
pedophile.
my ID too. It was so weird.
That's insane. I can't say I ever met his parents because we did not date long enough for that. We were talking
Honestly,
for
I
a
don't think
while.
we were dating long enough for me to meet his mom. Anyways, but he made
Well,
me sit up front with her in the car when we went to Walmart and yeah, and she asked for my
stop.
ID and I was like, I can't believe because keep in mind he looks young. He looks really young for his age and I
Yeah.
was like, why are you asking for my ID? Like, should be
Also,
asking for his.
should we be concerned that his mom is like, "Can I look at your ID?" Like, has he had a situation where,
Right,
which, like,
right.
I know, like, with his mom, at least, I know there is another situation, which I will share later, but, like, and, like, he's got allegations and shit like that online, so, I see it, like, I
We can
saw it
talk
on my
about
For You
that.
page.
You
Yeah.
saw it on your For You page? I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I
Well,
saw it on
cause
fucking Facebook.
I was like on like the car community TikTok, cause I just like have an interest in cars. I don't know jack shit about cars,
Me
but I
too. Me
enjoy it.
too.
And so I'm like, it's just all over my For You page. That man, John Doe, all over my For You page all the time on my brother's, and my brother would send it to me and like, hey, look who it is. Fuck off. Fuck you. I don't see this shit.
People that I knew, someone that I grew up with in Arizona, one of my close friends, had been following him on TikTok and stood up on my story when I posted him when we were dating. Was like, oh my god, is that? Look, I don't want to say it. Like yeah, it was so it was so weird. And then one time we were at the gas station at like midnight at a quick trip, and this
Mm.
girl and her boyfriend were getting gas in their car and got out to go inside to get gas, and my window was like cracked. But you know how tinted his windows are, so you can't see
Yeah.
inside. So they didn't think anyone was in there, but the girl was like, "Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is?" So to her boyfriend, yeah. And all I heard after that was her say like, and I got the ick. I was like, take me
No,
away.
thank God. Thank God I didn't like when I was dating him. That was when like towards the end of our relationship was when he blew up. But I guess we could start getting into like our different stories. I don't know if that's in like terms of like our own personal experiences with the
Yeah.
relationship, but do you want
So
me to go
how?
first or do you want to go
Yeah, tell
first?
me how it was when you guys first
Oh
started
my,
dating.
okay. So I'm like, I met him right after I was talking, dating another guy, and like we like stopped speaking, whatever. So I met him on Tinder. We hung out for the first time. We just like went to the mall, got dinner. I don't know, very high schooly, whatever. It didn't strike me as weird because I was in high school. It should have struck me as weird considering he was a full ass grown adult. But he
So was he 19 when you guys started dating, or was he 20?
20.
He was 20
Yeah,
already?
20. He was 20. So cuz I was getting ready to, well, okay, hold on.
He might have been
Yeah, I
19
was 20.
turning 20.
Yeah. For my high school, if you were 21, you were not allowed to come in. So I know he was either 19 or 20. I remember that. But at one point it got to the point where I was like, okay, what are we doing? Like, are you not going to commit to me? Like, this is weird. And he would always talk about his like, oh, he has commitment issues and how his ex cheated on him and da di da di da. And I'm like, okay, like I get that. However, like I'm driving an hour every time to see you. And like, is this like I don't know if I'm wasting my time, but so we fast forward to my prom and he drives down. We go to my prom and like I have like my roommate was there, my current roommate was there because we went to high school together, and then like a couple other of my friends, and they're all like trying to be welcoming, say hi. He was a dick. He literally was just like, hey, and that was the extent of it. And so then we go to like an after party, and I told like the host ahead of time like, oh yeah, like I'm bringing the guy I'm dating, and like they're like, okay, that's fine, because we weren't really allowing kids from other schools to come to the after party just because they had a really bad experience with fights breaking out. And so the host's girlfriend sees us walk in and she's like, who the fuck are you? And I like came up and I was like, oh, like it's the guy I told you about. She's like, oh, okay. He made a whole big fucking deal. He was like, I don't even fucking want to be here anyways, la di da di da. And I was like, okay, then let's fucking leave. Like, let's go. So we get in his car, we go to Sonic, and I'm sitting there in silence because not only did like you not want to even try to engage with my friends, you ruined my senior prom. Let's be a little less selfish. Let's be a little less narcissistic. And also, the guys from my high school would walk out and see his car, and they were glazing the fuck out of him. So it was feeding his fucking ego. And so then he asked me to be his girlfriend after prom because we got into a little bit of an argument. And then, like, in a way, I kind of gave him, like, I don't remember if it was an ultimatum or not, but I like basically said like I'm tired of this, and then he asked me to be his girlfriend. And so then I want to say maybe around like beginning of May, beginning of May. He went out with his friends. We were supposed to hang out. He bailed on me, whatever. I didn't strike it as weird because we had just gotten into the whole argument about how his friend sent the screenshot of me being active on Tinder, but I explained to him like, oh, like I got on there to show proof of something to someone else and immediately like deleted the app after. And I was like, you could ask my friend. Like I have like fucking like a person to vouch for me. And he was just like, you're like basically cheating on me. He was basically alluding to that. And so then he acted like everything was fine. He would constantly text me like, oh, I miss you, da da da. And he went out with his friends, and his friend made this TikTok of him, and it got like, to this day, I think it's like 19 million views. Like that's how he bloomed in fucking fame, because of that fuck ass TikTok, which is funny because before his friend even posted that, I got videos of that situation before it even got posted on the internet. So I'm sitting there, haha, hee hee, whatever. And then his friend posts that, blows up, and then he starts making TikToks regularly because he's like, why not? There are girls all up in his comments like saying all the shit. He's engaging with them. He's acting like he's single, like all this happy horse shit. And I'm like, okay, so no, actually, this wasn't done with me. I made a TikTok, and it was like basically saying like, the guy I'm dating sketch type deal,
Right.
or like something about people being sketch, and he screenshot it, sent it to me. He was like, what's this about? I said, bitch, you know exactly what the fuck this is about. Be fucking for real. And then he started getting dodgy, and like the night before my graduation, I texted him. I was at a grad party, and I was like, hey, like, could we get on a call and talk? You've been acting weird. You've been distant. You've been flaking on me, bailing on me. And he was like, yeah, sure. I get home. I'm like sitting there, and he texts me. He goes, this is better to do over text. But basically, in a nutshell, he was like, oh, like we're in different places in life. Like I can't even see my girlfriend when I want to. And like that whole Tinder thing threw me off. I also hate that you have like all these guy friends, which mind you, all my guy friends I've known since I was a kid. Like known them
Mhm.
since like elementary school or middle school. It's not like they're brand new. Like if it was a brand new friend I made, granted, I get it. But I've known these people way longer than you. I'm not gonna drop them, especially if it's just purely platonic. And so he was like, any guy that like has a girlfriend would agree with me, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, well, bud, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Dump me the night before my graduation, but then he would like do this little, I'm gonna keep a little bit of a trail, like a little bunny trail, so she can just like keep like basically feeding me attention to lead me on. And so then eventually, I want to say like I go. So summer passes by. I've already graduated. The fall comes. I move out to Lawrence for college, and then at this point, we had still been in contact, but not as much, just because I was like, I'm getting kind of like this is bullshit. We hung out. I want to say sometime in August, maybe. I have it somewhere. Did we? I don't know. So I remember us hanging out when I had first moved out, and then eventually I just was done with his bullshit, so I like unadded him in October. And then but he still had my number. And I want to say sometime around like January 21st of 2023 was when he texted me. He was like, "Oh, I was in Lawrence." And I was like, "Oh, like you didn't tell me like I was out, da da da." And then he was like, "Okay, like, do you want to come over?" I was like, "Well, I've been drinking. I can't drive." So he was like, "Okay, I'll come get you." And like immediately, I was on a fucking mission at this point. So I like whip open the door. I sit in there. I'm obviously really still fucking pissed about his fucking behavior. And he was like, "Oh, you blocked me." I said, "I unadded you, and for a good reason. You are leading me on, you piece of fucking shit." And so then we continue to have that conversation. We're talking at his place for a while, and he's like, "Oh, like maybe we could potentially get back together." Da da da. And I'm like, "You're so full of shit. Like you're such a fucking liar." And then we kept in contact from January to like March, and then we hung out again March 23rd. And my like friends, he like the night that he like picked me up and dropped me off, my friends saw his car in the front of my dorm building, and they're like, "The fuck? Where did she go and who the fuck is she with?" And so we're like all talking about like I hang out with him that second time March 23rd, and we're like me and my friends are sitting there, and I'm on TikTok, and I'm like scrolling, and your TikTok happened to pop up on my For You page. And I see his like hand, and I'm like I'm like, okay, is this him? So then I stalk a little bit longer, and I see he's all up in your comments. He's, all this happy horse shit. And I was like, wow, I was sick. Like, I went straight to the restroom. I'm dry heaving. I'm gagging because I like shit like that where my anxiety spikes. It makes me physically ill to my stomach. And my roommate like knew about this, and she was like, oh my fucking God. And so then I was sitting there and I was battling. I was like, okay, like, what do I even tell this girl? Like, what can I say and what proof do I have to send to you for you to believe me? Because I've been put in that position, and a lot of the times the girl's like, that's like not true. He would never do that. You're just fucking crazy. And like, obviously, hearing how he talks about all his exes, like, his ex before me called her fucking crazy. And then when I mentioned you, he called you crazy too. So I'm like, okay, obviously he's gonna fucking call me fucking crazy. And like, granted, am I slightly crazy? I'm not crazy in the sense of like psychotic, like, oh, I'm gonna like stalk him.
Right.
I'm crazy in the sense of like, I'm crazy with my words. Like, if you disrespect me, I'm gonna be the biggest fucking cunt you've ever met. Like, I'm not gonna hold back. And so it was just like a matter of like, after that, I like unadded him, and then which I can get into the part where like we got back. Should I get into the part where we got back in contact again? Because at that point, you and him had already broken up too. So should we get into like your storyline and
Yeah,
then?
we'll start with like, cause you guys hung out on March 23rd. We met on
Yeah,
March
and
20th.
then I blocked him for like a whole year at that point.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, we'll get into that, and then we can come back to where we both got back into contact with him. Which, why did we both do that? I don't know, but
We were bored, girl. We just
yeah.
wanted. We were just bored. We just wanted some attention, very temporary.
So we met on March 23rd. We matched on Tinder, and I think it was like the right after we matched on Tinder, and he was asking me to hang out. So I got his Snapchat, and then I was at my sister's at the time, and I was staying with people where I couldn't have him over. So and I don't even know. He didn't have his car that day. He was getting his tires done or something. And so he came over to my sister's and hung out with me and my guy friends. And you were talking about how he didn't like how you had guy friends and stuff. Like he was the same
Yeah.
way about mine. Like just to fast forward a little bit, we'll backtrack here in a second. But once me and him like got together, he was like he would call my guy friends low tiers and da 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 da.
Yep.
Yeah.
Calling he would say like bum, all this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, when I met you, you were fucking backpacking out of somebody
Yeah.
else's house. You didn't have your own place.
His favorite thing to say is like how much money does he make? Like does he make more money than me? What car does he drive? And I'm like,
Oh
none
my
of these
God.
have to do with the character of a person whatsoever. So, anyways, back to so we hung out the first night. We just all hung out and talked, and he ended up sleeping on my sister's couch with me, and like nothing happened. And then the next day, he invited me over to his house, and he was like, I'll pick you up from your house. So he picked me up from my house and with his car, but his car had like no like working headlights. And it was damn near dark outside and it was raining. So if that gives you any idea of how much he cares for
No.
for anyone's safety other than his own, he doesn't care for his own, but
No, not at all. The
no.
very first date I had with him, he was going like fucking 90 in like
Yeah.
downtown Kansas City, just like weaving. And I'm like
Cutting it
sitting there.
up, yep.
Like, granted, I wasn't scared because I've been in that position, but I was like, you just met me. You're
Right.
not even like.
Exactly. Don't put my life in danger. The fuck. Yeah, and so we went to his house and that's where I met his friend, his
His roommate.
bestie. Yeah.
Yeah.
They like had a little house together and stuff.
Is this the
So,
one that was in, right? Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
assuming that's the one that you went to
Yeah.
on
I was
March
there.
23rd.
Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately.
And I was there 2 days later. Or I guess like not
God.
even 2 days later, the next day. So I went to his house and him and his bestie were drinking, so we were all drinking. John Doe more than the rest of us, I'd say. Because this night he was not over his ex at all whatsoever.
No, not
He
at
went
all.
outside. Yeah, he went outside to talk to his bestie about something after he got a little bit fucked
Too
up.
belligerent.
Yes, and ends up punching their like screen door that's before the actual door, but it's a glass screen door.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So he punches it. His knuckles are all bloody. He breaks the his bestie is pissed, okay? His
I
bestie's like,
bet.
what the fuck? Yeah. He's like, you're paying to replace that, da 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 da. So he gets too fucked and he ends up going to the bathroom and like, throwing up everywhere. And I'm in there helping him, taking care of him. And he's saying that he loves me. And then he calls me his ex's name repeatedly, over
I would
and over again.
crash out.
I
I
was
would
like,
crash
what
out.
the fuck is wrong with this? But to be fair, I was not over my ex at the time. So I was like,
Valid.
all
Valid.
right. I was like, I get it. I guess we're both using each other to get over someone. At least now I know that. Right. But
Hmm.
yeah, I decided his bestie heard that too and brought it up the next day. And he was like throwing up all over himself. And I took care of him for 2 hours before I
Oh.
just left him on the bathroom floor and went upstairs and slept in his bed. Then I continued to hang out with him. And I'm pretty sure the third night that we hung out is when he took me to dinner, or he took me to his friend's house and they had like a dinner out back on the patio. Pretty sure we started dating after like 2 weeks, maybe less. And it wasn't, I didn't even think he like asked me to be his girlfriend. He was just like, you are my girlfriend, you know?
Hell no. Hell
Yeah,
no.
that should have been a big red flag to me because I think we had like a conversation where I was like, but we're not dating. And he was like, yes, we are. And I was like, oh, this is
The
news to
fuck?
me. Like, yeah. And so the first time that he like took me anywhere was to McDonald's. Later
Go
on,
figure.
yeah, fast forward about a year later, whenever we like hung out again, I made a video with him that blew up and got like
Oh, I know which one you're
three,
talking about.
yeah, got hella
Is it the one
views.
like in the one in the car? This is when he was living in his apartment, right? And he was parking the
Yeah,
garage. Yeah,
the
I
gray
remember
car.
seeing it. Yeah. I remember seeing it
Yeah.
because right around that time, either before, like a month or so before, I had hung out with him and then he posted that and I was like, oh, shocking.
Literally everyone was saying I sounded like Sydney Sweeney, and that really took me out because one, I don't, and two, like everyone was just kind of like hating on me for like putting my fingers on the window and stuff, like things that he told me to do or like things that were for the video, and they're like, drop her, she put her fingers on the window. But
Don't
no, that
care,
video
did
blew
not
up.
ask.
Didn't get any credit for that whatsoever.
Go figure.
Yeah.
He doesn't
And
want any of those little girls that give him attention to
right.
find out who you are and find out that he had a girl.
Exactly. And so, yeah, back to when we were dating. There was everything seemed like, besides the obvious red flags on that second night where he's like calling me his ex's name and stuff, everything seemed like fine. He like seemed sweet. There were there were signs though. Like our first date, he took me to, do you know where that is? It's in off. I think it's off. It's somewhere around there. But
Maybe.
it's like a fancy restaurant, expensive.
Mm.
But everything we got was free because they like knew him and knew he was like known on TikTok and stuff.
My God.
Right, so it wasn't even like he was like paying for it or anything. Not that like that really matters, but it kind of does. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's where he took me for like to go out. And that was like the only time that we actually ever went somewhere like on a date other than McDonald's or car meets or like, you know.
That's literally the same here. We only ate out like our first date and then everything else was fast food or just
Literally.
nothing and like we would go to
Literally.
car meets.
Or he'd
We
ask me to get him food all the time and never him getting me food. It was so weird. I was like, why don't you
brokey,
get me food? Literally.
brokey.
But then he would call me broke all the time and talk about the car that I drove. Like he would shit on my car. I was like,
He drove a slow ass BRZ.
literally.
Like your car looks cosmetically nice, but speed
That's
wise,
it.
it's a piece of shit.
Right. And then I don't know how far along into us dating this was, but I was at his apartment and he was having friends over and I was just sitting on his bed. They were all talking and I got a text on Instagram and it was a hey girly text. And let me see if I can actually pull it up right now just so I can be like accurate in what it says. But I was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say.
Is this the girl that you told me about?
Yeah, her name's
Okay, never mind.
no, yeah,
I thought
this
you were
is
talking
not
because the
yeah.
other one, she's friends with, like, she went to high school, or she didn't go to high school with her, but she worked with one of my friends that goes to school here with me now. And I, like, talked about it, and she was like, my friend was like, now that I think about it, like, the timelines add up because this girl would talk about this guy that was big on TikTok and how she thought he was really sweet. And then she found out that he had a boy or a girlfriend. And yeah, it was a whole thing.
Okay, I did find it. Let me scroll up. I can't believe that I still have this. This is actually okay. Let me stop for this. She said, "Hey girl, hate to be that bitch who sends one of these messages, LMAO, but I feel like I should let you know. I've been texting and was actually supposed to come over tonight, but I'm definitely not now that I saw your comment. I don't know how long you've been a thing for, but yeah, let me know if you need proof." And I was like,
Send me them receipts,
yeah.
baby.
I was like,
Send
yes, send
them.
me them. I was like, we're dating, so this is a little awkward. And she was like, oh my god, are you serious? And I was like, yes. And she was like, I'm so sorry. How long? I said a couple weeks, so I guess we were dating for a couple weeks at this time. Damn,
Yeah.
bitch. That early
He
in,
is
he
a
was already on the yit.
busy boy. He a busy
Yes.
boy.
And then, so at first, she wasn't sending me the proof. So I was like,
Like skeptical,
so
yeah.
yeah, I'm like, she was like, oh god. I said, can you send the proof though? I said, anything you have from like the past couple weeks. And then she said, were you guys hanging out today? I said, we're together right now. Like, she said, damn. I said, are you gonna send it to me? Or she said, did you ask him? And then she was like, yeah, I will. Yeah, BRB. So, and then she was like, so you guys are officially exclusive. I said, yes. I said, can you just send me it? I don't want to chat for real.
Yeah,
Because at
literally.
this point,
No.
I'm like,
Why
no, I
the
don't want
fuck
to
are
talk
you
about it. I
chatting
just
with
want
me?
to
Literally.
know.
Why
I
are
don't
you
like
chatting
because
with me? Send me the receipts. Girl, we're not
yeah,
here to make friends.
and because he was so like popular at the time, I was like, this could just be someone for like attention. So I wanted to be
Yeah.
sure, you know. And she was like, I don't want drama. I said, okay, the longer I don't get anything, the less I believe you. She said, girl, I don't even know if I believe y'all are together. I was like, then why the fuck are you texting me in the first place?
The fuck?
She said,
My
girl,
ass would have
goodbye.
crashed out. My ass
No,
would have
yeah.
crashed out.
She said his phone's on Do Not Disturb too, by the way. He's clearly being sketched, which is something I had just said to him. I was like, why is your phone on Do Not Disturb? Like, bitch. And then she said, girl, I have his sweatshirt, by the way, if he needs it. I was like, just, then she sends me the proof, and they're texting, and I'll have to bleep this name out because we keep saying his name, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We're bad at
Also, in
that.
hindsight, I was like thinking, like, us saying that's so gonna give it away.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
But he was like, have a driver? Interesting. She said, I do, with the smiley face. And this is when I'm like on the way to his house, I'm pretty sure, because it's 6:30 p.m. I think this. And so he said, interesting, with the eye roll. He's such a flirt over text too, it's bad.
Yeah, he's a terrible flirt though.
Yeah,
Sometimes
and then
like I liked the attention, but sometimes I would read it and I'm like, ew.
yeah, literally like ick. She said, I'll come over right now, swear to God, with a smiley face. And he said, right now? And she said I could. And then he said maybe. I was low key finna game because I just got a hefty speeding ticket. He did just get a speeding ticket, and he's calling me after he gets a speeding ticket. He's like, oh my God, I just got pulled over. Can you please come over? Can you please come over? The fuck? And so she's like, do what you want to do, with a smiley face. And then he says, prob just chill tonight, perhaps tomorrow. So I'm on the way, and he's like saying that he's gonna hang out with her tomorrow.
No, no, my ass would have had. Aren't you 20? Aren't you 20 something?
Right. So then she also sends me pictures of their saved in chat from
Boy.
this is like right before me and him were together. So this is you guys might have been talking during this time, I'm not sure, but this
Yeah,
is like
probably.
March 17th. And there he was like saving her pics in chat of her like in the mirror and stuff. Yeah. And then oh my God, he sent her a screenshot of a Spotify like cover picture for a song and said, "This is you on God." Wait, hold on, let me show you. Like he
I
is
would
so
be
nasty.
sick. He is the most lustful, nasty human being ever.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just like, okay, okay. So
Oof.
I pull. At this point, I was just looking. I was like, ew. I'm like looking at him. I was like, are you serious? I showed his friends the girl's profile because they were asking me to see it, and I was like, okay. And they were like, are you serious? Like, I
Yeah.
won't say anything, but like, I was like, are you serious? It's like this. I was just like, my fucking God. And so me and him go out to the hallway, and he's like, I was never gonna hang out with her. I was never gonna hang out with her. I would never cheat on you. I would never cheat on you. Why are you making this such a big deal?
I would have lost it. I would have fucking lost
I
it.
did. I was like, I don't remember what happened later that day. I don't remember if I stayed or if I went home. I just know I was so pissed off, and I was like, I can only imagine what else is on this man's phone. Like,
Literally.
yeah, and one night, don't remember what exactly was said, but it wasn't that serious, and he got so mad and just left the apartment in the middle of the night, drove 30-ish minutes away. I think he drove to too, which is crazy. I was like, interesting. And then comes back, like, and I literally was outside. Yeah, because I went outside to, I don't know what I was doing. I went outside to get something for my car, and then I couldn't get back in. I forgot. And so I was just stuck outside for hours while he was doing God knows what.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to say this. When I met him, he had an Android, right? Broke his Android, and he was talking about how he wanted to be able to FaceTime me and stuff. So he used his friend's old iPhone. And then he ended up going and getting an iPhone. And he used to tell me all the time, Androids are better. and then he met me and then switched over to iPhone, which
That's
I thought
crazy.
was like, which like I don't want to assume. However, we
Right.
would FaceTime a lot because I lived like an hour away. So like we couldn't see each other. And I was in high school, so like, and I have strict parents, so I couldn't just leave whenever I pleased. What
I
was I
don't
gonna
even
say?
remember why I broke up with him. I think it was because I just kept seeing girls in his phone and I was over it. And he would just say the most, like, he started problems with all of my friends. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, like girls, guys, whatever. He would always start problems. Like I'd be on FaceTime with one of my girlfriends at his house and he would go off and like if they said something that he didn't like and he'd be like, I'm gonna swat your house. I'm gonna
He
send the SWAT
has
to your
like
house.
anger issues. Like there
Oh, for
was,
sure.
we went to like a car meet, like the second or third time we hung out. Maybe a little bit later than that. But there's a kid talking shit. Like, and by kid, I mean like probably a freshman in high school. Like he was a little baby talking shit. And John Doe, sorry, I almost said his name. John
It's
Doe
okay.
gets so fucking angry, like wants to beat this kid's ass. I literally look at him, I said, he is not worth it because that is a child and you're an adult. Like, don't even engage. Walk away, walk it off. Like, get a fucking grip. Like, I was acting like his mother in public. And sometimes I was like, I'm like in high school and I'm more mature than you as like a 20-year-old. Like, get a grip. But, okay. So, in terms of our timeline, I'm trying to think. Let me look because I have a little timeline pulled out here. Okay, so obviously I hung out with him the 21st and 23rd of 2020, January 21st and March 23rd of 2023. And
So we have March 23rd in common so
yeah,
far.
and then I found out like April 5th that you were with him. So then I blocked him. But so like right around that time, I met the guy that I was talking to for like 2 fucking years. And I was overly loyal to this man. So I like blocked pretty much any man on this fucking earth. Granted, I wasn't a girlfriend, so that was stupid on my part. But then March of 2024 rolls around. I'm like in shambles. I just gotten my tonsils out. I'm recovering from that. I basically just got dumped from this piece of shit man that I was talking to for 2 years. And so I don't remember, I was in, and I was sitting there and like, you know how like there's just the suggested friends on Snapchat? His popped up because I guess I unblocked him and never added him back. And so I was like, you know what? I'm bored. Why not? It's just attention. I don't have feelings for this man anymore. But like, what's a little bit of attention and someone to hang out with during this whole shit show? So as soon as I add him back, he texts me. It was like, what do you want? And I'm like, the fuck?
That's his first response always.
First of all, uh, let's pipe the fuck down, mister. And we're like texting, whatever. And then we hung out March 20th of 2000 or 24. He was living in his apartment. He was getting ready to move out of that apartment at some point, which when I went over there and the first thing he asked me was like, "Oh, did you and your boyfriend break up?" And
He loves that question.
I was like, he wasn't like technically my boyfriend because he never asked me to be his girlfriend, but if that's what you want to call it, sure. And then we were just kind of sitting there talking for a while, and he was just being like weird and just fucking rude. Like, I was kind of talking about like a situation, and like he knew like how my parents were. And he had the audacity to be like, oh, good thing I never stayed with you because I would hate to be a part of that family. I literally looked at him and I was like, you're fucking rude. Like, who says that? And so then we hang out. We're like, whatever. And then in the morning, I go to the restroom. He let me sleep in because I guess he doesn't lock his apartment. But he let me sleep in. And I walk in the restroom. And like, I don't know if he just like maybe has some fucking girly ass products or what it may be in the hairbrush. I was sitting there and I was like, these are girl products. And I was like, should I be concerned?
I would always look in the bathroom
Yeah.
whenever I'd
And
go.
then we hung out again like a month later, give or take. And at that point, what the fuck was I doing? I remember we hung out. I just got off work, went over there, hung out, whatever. And then we hung out May 2nd again. And that was the night that I was drunk. Like, I had no business being at that man's house. And he said something along the lines of, oh, I could never like make you angry. And I looked at him, I said, really? You want me to prove you fucking wrong right now? Because I can. And so I just went on a whole like tangent, just like saying that he was such a piece of shit boyfriend, all that stuff. And then I looked at him, I said, also, don't act like you weren't cheating on your past girlfriend. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, oh, please don't fucking play coy with me. I said, you were dating this girl, and I found out in my dorm room a week later that you were dating this woman, and you were probably hanging out with her right after. Because I said, there were back-to-back fucking TikToks of her in your bed. And I know it was your bed because you had that fucking Yoda or fucking raccoon.
Star Wars fucking
yes.
thing behind
and I
his
was
bed.
like, I was like, I fucking know that was your bed. I've said I've been in your bed many, many times. So don't fucking play coy with me. And he was like, who are you talking about? I said, Abby, hello. And he was like, oh, she's crazy. I never dated her. We were never dating. And I said, really? Okay. Yeah, because a woman's just going to post a man that she's not dating all over her shit. And I was like, get out of my face. And I just kept on yelling at him. And then at that point, I was so over it. We both just went to bed because I was so drunk. And in the morning, I kind of felt bad to some extent because I was being like, anybody that knows me knows that when I'm defending my own name or if you're being disrespectful as fuck to me, I'm not nice about it. I am rude as fuck. Like,
right.
So then we hang out December 6th, which is before I met you. Hung out December 6th, and we were supposed to go.
2024?
Yes. We were supposed to go on a 2-man because his roommate, he texted me and was like, my roommate's wondering if you, like, you know.
Wait. For what?
6th? Yeah.
Hold on, because I'm pretty sure that we hung out, like, around the same time.
Oh my god, this man makes me sick.
Because in December is when everything happened with my roommates, and he's the one who called the cops on one of my roommates. And so I know, and the cop was like asking me if it was my boyfriend, and I said no, that he was just my really good friend. And he was like, well, and they were like laughing, and they were like, don't tell him that, because I guess he told them over the phone that he was my boyfriend.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so December. Oh my god, bitch. I'm pretty sure it was the same day. I don't know if we hung out or not. I think we
I like hung out with him that night because I went there. That was the night I ripped into him. But
December 6th, you went over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
6th, 5th, something. It has to be somewhere. Well, because I would go over there late. So, like, it would say, like, midnight the next day. So, it's somewhere like 5th, 6th, somewhere around there.
Okay, I think. So, mine was December 5th. So, yours. Why the fuck? Why the fuck are ours a day apart?
Why does he do that? It's like
he loves hanging out with us back to back.
It's gross. No, he texted me. He was like, my roommate is wondering if you have any attractive friends. And I was like, and at that point I was out drinking with one of my like best friends. And I was like, hey, like his roommate, like he seems really nice. You might like him. I don't know. Like, and he's definitely not her type. So she was like doing whatever. And she ended up being like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, okay. So I went over there and thank God she didn't come with me because ew. But yeah, I do remember one of the nights that we were in his apartment. We're sitting there and he was talking about one of the times he went to the same bar that we met at. He was there and he was talking
I hope we never run into him.
God, I would have a fucking time with that. But basically, he told me he met this girl at that bar and they were talking, yada yada, and he went back to her place because she lives in Lawrence, like her parents live in Lawrence, whatever. She claimed that she was a student at KU and he went back and allegedly, this is what he told me. They're making out, whatever, and she goes to the restroom. And he goes on his phone and looks up her Instagram and finds out that she's still in high school and that he up and left. Which I don't fucking believe. Not even for a fucking second do I believe that. Because what man who's been drinking suddenly thinks, let me look this girl on Instagram while she's in the restroom? right before I'm literally about to have sex with her, and then finds that out and ups and leaves. I don't know if I genuinely believe that or not. I literally made fun of him for it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And I was like, I said, do you want some Pampers? Because you love them fucking babies. Jesus Christ. Like, be fucking for real. You're sick. And then that was around the same time that he was getting like those allegations on TikTok, like he's a pedophile, all this shit. And I was like,
Oh my god, I saw that and I was like, justice has been served. I
literally,
was
it
like, oh
checks
my
out.
god. Yeah, I honestly, I was a little skeptical. He denies, because I talked to him about it and I was like, what is this that I'm hearing all over?
But
Because
he's a
I had
fucking,
met another guy on Tinder who had the same name as him,
yeah,
coincidentally, and he hated John Doe and was like, he's such
that's
a piece of
crazy.
shit, and like would tell, like, I don't remember exactly what he said. God, wasn't listening half the time, but
Well,
I just remember
John,
him like talking about how much he, how rude was, and I was like, at least like people
yeah.
know that he's not a nice person.
No, well, John Doe is like a fucking chronic liar. Like he gaslights, manipulates, like, and thinks he's holier or like bigger than thou, that he's on this fucking pedestal. And after, right around the time that I blocked him, I went on a Tinder date. He's one of my best friends now, but went on this Tinder date. He's also a big car guy. And I was like, I'm kind of scared. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, you say that you go to car meets, so I'm wondering if you know John Doe. And he goes, oh, God. And I was like, yeah, I dated him for a little bit. And he was like, he's such a fucking dick. Like, he is not a nice person. He's not a good person. He's like, I'm shocked that you would even date him because you guys have polar opposite personalities. And I was like, yeah, well, I was a naive 18-year-old in high school. So what? But I didn't know any fucking better.
Literally,
Ugh.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
He does not have a great reputation, and ever
not at all.
since, I think like I don't know exactly when it started, but he does not get the abuse and stuff that he gets anymore, or he used to get
Mm-mm.
anymore. So, like, yeah, about time people
He
got
stopped
tired of that same
making,
old shit.
from what maybe if I'm, hold on, let me actually look real quick. If I'm not wrong, I honestly think he might have just stopped posting. Cause, wow, that's so loud.
That too, yeah, he
Let's
did
see.
stop posting, or like he'll post and then he'll delete it like almost immediately.
Yeah, like, let's see.
But he would like blow my phone up. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
About what?
I don't even know. Me ignoring him.
The funny thing is, I remember because when I like obviously first met him, I'm still driving my Beamer, piece of shit car, but he was like, "Oh, like that's so attractive that you drive a rear wheel drive, da 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 da." And I'm like, I don't know jack shit about cars, bro. I like cars.
Literally.
I like how they go vroom vroom. However, don't know shit about cars. And I
Oh
remember
my
him being like,
god.
"Oh, like I would never get one, da da da," and then he ended up getting one. So
Yeah, he's such a fucking hater. I know, he used to hate on BMWs all the fucking
yeah,
time, and now he has one. I found a text where he was like, bro, don't want to date me, but expects planned out times to hang out.
because
I
we
think
have a
everyone
life.
expects planned out times to hang out.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
work, we have life.
And like, that's the thing too. It's like when we would hang out after, like, a while after we broke up, he'd always like, I'd tell him, like, I'd never date him again. And because he'd be like, I was such a good boyfriend, da da da. I was like, where? Are we
In what
talking about
fucking
the same
universe?
person? Yeah, no. And I would tell him, I was like, no, you are not a good boyfriend. Like, you can be an okay friend sometimes, but you were never a good boyfriend.
Mm-mm.
And he was like convinced that that I would date him again. No, he was so immature, and I tried to explain that to him. I was like, first of all,
Yeah.
you have nothing that I want in a guy. You are
He's
probably
got
one of the
some.
meanest people I know.
Oh, yeah. Goodness. Sorry, my mom just randomly called me. No, that man's got some deep rooted trauma. Oh my God. Stop. Fuck's
Mom, I'm
sake.
podcasting.
I gotta text her and tell her, give me a sec. I literally told her I was gonna be busy within this time. Hold on. Anyways, he's got some deep-rooted trauma in him.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I he
he has
talks about
mommy
his like
issues
and daddy issues.
for sure.
Yeah, like and like so like I'm like, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a pass. However, like I feel like everybody, not everybody, but like people have their own fair share of mommy and daddy issues. Like I
Right.
fucking do. So I'm like, I don't go around treating people like shit and cheating on them. Like
Exactly.
that's not an
That is
excuse.
no
He's
excuse.
he's just a narcissistic ass man. And that's
Oh
the
my
fucking
gosh.
problem.
Did I tell you that? So the first night that we met, he came over to my sister's, right? And we were
Hmm.
talking about my sister's baby daddy, and we said like his name, and he was like, "Oh, blank blank," and said his last name too. And we were like, and he knew my sister's baby daddy because they worked at McDonald's together like years before, and
Interesting.
they almost, or no, I'm pretty sure they did. Maybe they fought at the McDonald's. Yeah, I was like, "You're so protective."
He's literally, I like can't. He's always trying to pick a fight with someone, whether
Literally,
it's on
like,
the
dude, you are so
internet.
small. You have no muscle on
No,
those.
okay. And the funny thing is he loves to claim on the internet that he's like 5'10". That bitch ain't 5'10".
That bitch is not 5'10".
That bitch is like probably 5'6".
Yeah,
And
maybe
like
5'7". Maybe.
he likes to like crack nasty ass jokes, and I'm like,
I know.
you can't back
Not
that shit
cute.
up.
Not
So
cute.
it's just, he's just, the way he portrays himself, I hate, like, he portrays himself kind of the same on the internet as he does in person, but he lessens the blow. Him in person's much worse. He's a dick. Like, that's literally the
He
best way to
is.
describe him. He's a dick.
He's not nice. The only, and like, that is one of the biggest reasons that he's so mean. Like, every word that comes out of his mouth is hateful.
Oh,
Like, if
yeah.
someone comments some negative shit on his, like, TikTok or his Instagram, like, he will be like stalking that person, ready to send the SWAT to their house. Like, he gets
Which
so
is
pissed
so
off over
weird.
nothing.
Like, you're 20 years old. Grow the fuck
22,
up.
22.
22.
Like,
Like, you're in your 20s, you're an adult. Most of these are kids on TikTok. Grow the fuck up. Like,
literally.
act like a fucking adult. Because at this point, I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah, no, he is embarrassing. And I, like, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing that I ever dated him. And I told him too, like, it would be embarrassing to date him again. Like, the
Literally.
outside community would be like, get away from him immediately.
My mom never met him, but she heard enough to where she did not like him. Not even in
I
the
bet.
slightest. She was just like, he seems not good for you.
Right.
Like he just seems a little too controlling, a little psychotic, and maybe a little bit manipulative. I said a little bit. And my best
Little
friend, like
bit.
from back home, she took our prom pictures and she literally looked at me after. She goes, "Be fucking for real." She was like,
Oh my gosh.
"This is who you're dating, not just about his looks, but like just like his personality." She did not like his personality at all.
I didn't even mention this from when we were dating, but while we were dating, we also had prom. Like, you guys went to prom,
Hmm.
except he refused to actually go inside with me because he was like, I'm 20 and I'm too old to go. So he came, took pictures with me and my friends, and then went to dinner with us and then left. And I asked him if he would stay because we weren't going to stay that long, and if he would go to like the after party that me and my friends were having, because it wasn't going to be like a huge thing. It was just me and my friends, and he
Yeah.
didn't want to be in like a big group. And I was like, it's just me and a couple of my friends, and he did not want to go. And so also he like ruined my photos because he was like worried about being 20 going to a high school prom. Sir, you look like you're maybe 16.
Literally.
He looked like my brother in the prom pictures. Like, I was like, I did not want to post the ones with him. And yeah, it was obvious that he didn't want to be there, and he made that clear. And he was like kind of nice to my friends, but meh, like, could have been better. And then just
Yeah.
dropped me off at prom and left. And I was like,
He
thanks.
literally, the only prom he's ever been to was mine. Like, he didn't go to his own, and I took him to mine. Obviously, that wasn't a good experience. So,
You know what's crazy is when I was like talking about it too, I was like, he told me that he didn't go to his prom. And so I was like, so why not come? Like, you haven't been to a prom. Why not come?
mhm.
And he like didn't say anything about going to prom the year
Yeah,
before.
because he went to
Yeah.
mine and he's never like he obviously he's never done all the prom stuff. So I got the corsage, I got the boutonniere, and I asked him if I specifically told him what I wanted. Like there's like a picture. I don't know if it's still up. It might be. There's a picture of him in an all black tux. And I told him, I said, I want you to dress in all black because it looks really nice and just trust me on it. Like, I wouldn't tell you to do this unless I didn't think it was nice. But I was also under the impression that he was going to wear a fucking tie and not a bow tie because I told him to wear a fucking tie. And after he actually did do it, he was like, okay, like, actually, it looks nice. I was like, well. So I, like, planned out the whole fucking thing. He didn't do jack shit other than maybe drive to come to my prom.
Yeah, he looked like he didn't even like really dress up for mine. He was like, I don't have anything, like da 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 da. And let me show you what these pictures look like if they're still up. It was so he looked so not cute. My dress slayed though, and like I slayed. Oh my god, bitch.
Where's his fucking jacket?
Bro was not even wearing like nice shoes or nothing.
God fucking
He
damn.
looked so, and I looked so good, and he looked so not good. And everyone, also, I posted this picture, and everyone thought he was gay.
I think I saw that picture. Because I
Really?
think one of my friends had sent it to me and was like, did you see this? And I was like, I already know. I was like, I'm not. I was like, I blocked him on everything. I'm going to keep it that way.
Yeah, he ruined my pictures. I was disappointed in the way that they turned out. And, I mean, people really thought he was my brother, and I was like, my dad said that he looked
Be
like my
ill.
brother. I was like, oh gosh, oh gosh. Yeah, so that was not fun. So yeah, guys, and then we talked about this for 45 minutes at the bar
Yeah.
together,
We
and
were
then we
talking about
also
literally
we
everything.
FaceTimed him. We
Oh,
FaceTimed him
yeah. I
together.
forgot about that.
He hung up
Was
immediately.
pressed.
Immediately. Yes.
Well, okay, so we were like sitting there and we were like, I think you were like, oh, like, let's take a picture together. And I was like, and then I think you looked at me and you're like, what if we just FaceTime him?
Literally,
And
yeah.
so, and I didn't have his number anymore. I lost his number like years ago when I like got broken up with and I moved on. Cause like for me, when I move on from someone, I get rid of literally everything. I delete pictures, I
See,
delete
I'm
your
the
number.
opposite.
I don't keep anything.
I keep everything.
I don't think I've been single for a year now and I don't have a single picture of any of my exes just because
Honestly, that
I've
must be
moved on with
so
my life.
nice because
It's
like I'll
freeing.
get like
It feels nice.
flashbacks and I'm like, oh shit.
No, well,
I
that's the
said-
reason. I used to get flashbacks and it would just it was very
It's okay, I can bleep it out.
for John Doe. We didn't date for very long, and then after a little bit, I got over it. I was like I was just butthurt about it because
Yeah, I
it was
wasn't
never
even. I
really-
didn't even care when we broke
yeah,
up. I didn't
it
give
was
a
just a
shit.
very like a non like it was a very kiddish relationship, like
right.
not anything. Like my first actual ever relationship was this very last one, which it took me a little bit to get over, and by a little bit I mean a lot bit. But like after I realized I deleted everything because I was like I need to stand the fuck up. Like
Right.
and I've noticed after John Doe, I have the most like specific patterns. Like I go for maybe it was because I was naive and it was my first ever experience and so that's like the standard that I just drilled into my head. I've only talked to narcissistic, immature men since him.
Same. That's
Other
how
than,
it
like,
turns out.
my
I
most
don't
recent
know how.
one. Like my most
See, but I
recent
also
one,
feel like my standards have gone up a little bit, but I let them slide for a certain person.
See, for me, it was like, I think for me, it's also easy just because, like, I blocked or unadded, like, if I see it going somewhere in the foreseeable future, like, if we're just even in the talking stage, I will block and unadd people just purely out of, like, respect. If we're, like, exclusive, I'll do that, which, granted, not the smartest since I wasn't a girlfriend yet. But I would do that just out of respect. So that's why I didn't find it to be much of an issue. Like when I tell my friends, like, oh, just delete their pictures. Because for a while, I couldn't with my last situation. And then eventually I was like, I had like Polaroids, I had letters. I went to the lake and burnt that shit. I was like, fuck this. I need to be free. Burnt it, deleted all of our pictures. So my phone is clean of any men. Like, and it's going to stay that way until, I don't know, I find a man that worships the ground I walk on.
Okay,
Alrighty.
we're gonna do word of the day.
Yes. We're gonna pick a word out that kind of correlates with what we're talking about. And today's word is solipsistic. It's an adjective. It also can mean selfish, but the definition is overly concerned with one's own desires, needs, or interests. I think this fits perfectly with what we talked about just because John Doe is a very, very narcissistic and selfish human being. Clearly, because
Yes.
he cheated on Abby probably
And
multiple
he's,
fucking times
yeah,
and
multiple
then
girls.
was,
And who knows who else has gone through this with him as
and I
well.
don't even know what I would consider my situation. Like, there's micro cheating, but to me, there's no such thing as micro cheating. It's just cheating. So, like, being online and acting like you're single and engaging with other women, I think is fucking weird, personally. But that's just me. But yeah,
No,
he's
agreed.
definitely solipsistic. That's for sure.
Okay, we're gonna do rapid Q&A. I know the questions and Kat doesn't, so it'll probably be easier for me to answer them. But okay, we're gonna start with fave color,
Blue.
favorite TV show,
Ooh. Scandal.
dream vacay,
Japan.
favorite season,
Fall.
and favorite food.
This is hard. Tacos.
I second. They're not my favorite food, but I love tacos.
So good.
Okay.
Alrighty. Favorite color?
Dark green.
A favorite TV show?
One Tree Hill or New Girl.
One Tree Hill's really good.
You like One Tree Hill?
Yeah, I've rewatched it so many
Me
times.
too. I love One Tree
So
Hill.
good.
You know they have a podcast?
Yes, I did see that. I saw that the girls have a podcast. Do the guys do too?
No, they just go on there on the girls' podcast. And they occasionally like host or guest.
Oh, okay.
But
I'll have to
yeah.
watch that. Okay. Dream vacay.
Dubai.
Ooh. Fave season.
Spring.
That's a good one. And favorite food.
Spaghetti.
That's yummy.
I love spaghetti. Okay.
Alrighty.
Our last segment. We're gonna do Kiss, Marry, Ghost. Again, I know these, but Kat does not, so they're a surprise for you. I guess if you want, you can make them up for me too, and I don't have to answer the same ones. But okay, so Kiss, Marry, Ghost, your most recent ex, your first love, and your ex best friend.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. Me and my ex best friend are kind of like on decent terms. Like we're chill. We don't. I mean, she doesn't live anywhere near me. We're like very like we catch up from time to time. Okay. Okay. So most recent ex best friend, and what was the other one?
First love.
Was it Kiss Mary? Wait, Kiss Mary Ghost? Or wait.
Kiss, Marry, Ghost.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said kill. Okay. Ghost, my most recent ex. I guess Kiss, my first. No, God, this is hard. Okay. Well, actually, okay. My first love and that my most recent kind of loop in together. Because then I guess I guess there's different stages. Like there's like your first love, like your first ever person that you like have feelings for, and then like your first love. So I mean, in terms of like, because like my first love, like the first ever guy I ever really liked, I was like a kid. So like I was like in high school. So I'm like, do I want to marry him? You know what? I will marry my first love, whatever, I guess him. Ghost my most recent ex, and then kiss my ex best friend. Just because I don't know, my first love thing was very, I don't know, kind of immature, childish, kind of like very, I don't know, very kiddish. So I don't really like count that as my first love, obviously. I mean, yeah, I guess wouldn't be a terrible person to marry, but I haven't spoken to him since I was in high school, so.
Yeah. Well, I think mine would be about the same. Well, I think my most recent ex and my first love are the same thing. So for me, I'd have to marry and marry my first love, kiss my most recent ex, and ghost my ex best friend. I think I did. So, wait, no.
Low-key, I think so did I. Well, I ghosted. Did I ghost my ex-best friend? Low-key kind of. Like we went to the same high school together. Like, I don't know. We're like
When I
chill
think
now,
about,
but
yeah, when I think about like my ex best friend, I think about like my ex best friend from high school. But then like I started really thinking about it, and like my most recent ex best friends are like my ex roommates and like that whole group. So I would
yeah.
ghost them for sure,
Yeah.
for
I've
sure.
I've kept the same like pretty much the same friends all throughout college just 'cause like my roommate, I met her in like middle school, but we were never really like we're more like acquaintances throughout middle school and high school. So we didn't actually become friends till we moved out together. And I've kept her as a friend up until now. So we've been living together like almost 4 years. And then like my roommates and then a couple other friends. But like, I don't know, weird. I didn't really think about that. My first
I even
love.
lived with my roommate for like a year before they moved out. I didn't even have a year of that. Thank
The
God.
funny thing is, I don't think I've ever said I love you to any of my like exes. Purely
Really?
just because they were very short-lived and I guess my like ex situationship, I never said I love you to him just because you never committed to me. So why would I
I
say I
didn't
love you?
either. Definitely
Yeah.
not to my.
But like my other exes, they were all very short-lived. Like John Doe was maybe a month or two of us dating, but then the rest was like us talking. And then the ex before that, maybe a month, but we were talking for a while. Also had commitment issues, but he wasn't a narcissist. He was actually really nice. And then those are the only two exes I've ever had in my life. I can't say that I've actually like like dated like we were in a committed relationship with anybody.
Lie. Throughout high school, I definitely dated, and I was like kind of known as the girl who would like jump from relation to
You were a
relationship.
chronic dater.
Yes, up until I met um my most recent ex when I was like a junior in high school, and like after him, it was, and that was really weird for me because I could always move on to the
Yeah.
next person. But then after him, I literally could not, and I didn't date for a while. I think John Doe was the first person that I dated after
Oh,
that
that's a
situation.
terrible person to date.
And that was like almost a year after me and him had broken up the first time. So like I gave
Mm,
myself time too, and I still like I only dated John Doe for a couple months before like I was like, I am worth so much more than that, and he is such a piece of shit.
well, yeah. Because I was kind of hung up on John Doe for a while, like from May to like October, and then again in like January, but to like March. But after that, once I like moved on, I was just like, out of sight, out of mind. The only person that I actually had a hard time moving on from was my like most recent thing. But then once I actually like healed from it, I guess, I like
Hmm.
don't have any romantic feelings for like once I've gotten to the point where I don't have romantic feelings for you anymore, it's hard for me to get it back. Like I'm kind of just like,
Same, yeah.
like I got
Yeah.
the
Once
ick
you
from
show me
you.
that one good final thing, I'm like,
Yeah, like I'm
and
good off you.
I don't even think I was ever hung up on John Doe. I think I had like FOMO almost of
FOMO.
like dead ass. I feel like I had like FOMO of like just like because I did like going to like the car meets with him and stuff. I enjoyed that aspect of it, but I did not enjoy the rest of it. So I was like, and like I did like his friends too, some of them. Thought some of them looked cool, so I was like, damn. But his friends are not cool. He's not cool. So there's that. On our next episode, we're going to talk about toxic friendships. So stay tuned and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Perfect.
Perfect.